Calling to order the organizational and regular meeting of the Liberty Union-Thurston Board of Education, and it's Monday, January the 8th. Roll call, please. Well, we don't need that yet, right?
No, I've got to swear in the newly elected. So, do you, Sean Shook, and you, Dr. John Walter, solemnly swear that you will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Ohio, and that you will faithfully and impartially discharge your duties as members of the Board of Education of Liberty Union-Thurston Local School District, Fairfield County, Ohio, to the best of your ability and in accordance with the laws now in effect and hereafter to be enacted during your continuance in said office and until your successor is elected and qualified.
I will.
Ms. Boyer, roll call, please.
Ms. Cato.
Here.
Mr. Hookrattle.
Here.
Mr. Moore.
Here.
Mr. Shook.
Here.
Dr. Walter.
Here.
Please rise for the pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next, we have the election of the board president. Do I have any nominations or motions?
I nominate Carol Cato.
I second.
So I have a motion by Dr. Walter, seconded by Mr. Schiff to nominate Carol Cato as board president for calendar year 2024. Ms. Williams?
Ms. Cato.
Abstain.
Mr. Hookrattle.
Yes.
Mr. Moore.
Yes.
Mr. Shook.
Yes.
Dr. Walter.
Yes.
We next have election of the board vice president. Do I have any nominations or motions?
I'll make a motion for Sean Hookrattle.
I'll second.
I have a motion by Mr. Shook, seconded by Dr. Walter to nominate Mr. Hookrattle as board vice president for the 2024 calendar year.
Mr. Hookrattle.
Abstain.
Mr. Moore.
Yes.
Mr. Shook.
Yes.
Dr. Walter.
Yes.
Ms. Cato.
Yes. We're doing the oath of office.
Do you, Carol Cato, President, and Sean Hookrattle, Vice President, solemnly swear that you will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Ohio, and that you will faithfully and impartially discharge your duties as President and Vice President and enforce said Liberty Union, Thurston Local School District, Fairfield County, Ohio, to the best of your ability and in accordance with laws now in effect and hereafter to be enacted during your continuance, in said office and until my successor is chosen and qualified.
I do.
Next, we are establishing the regular monthly meetings for 2024. We have a motion.
I'll make a motion to keep it as is.
Second.
Second Monday at 7 p.m.
I have a motion by Mr. Hookrattle, second by Mr. Moore, to establish the second Monday of the month at 7 p.m. as the date and time for the regular monthly meetings of the Board of Education for the 2024 calendar year. Meetings will be held in the district board office room unless otherwise announced. Ms. Boyer?
Mr. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Shook?
Yes.
Dr. Walter?
Yes.
Ms. Cato?
Yes.
Mr. Hookrattle?
Yes.
Item I, establish board legal counsel. The legal firm Brooker Neckler LLP and Scott Scriven LLP are recommended to provide legal assistance to the Board of Education and their designees during the 2024 calendar year. Do I have a motion?
Second.
We do need to change the name. It's Brooker Gaylord now. Isn't it Gaylord? Is that how you say it?
Bricker,
Yes, they just.
Bricker and Gaylord, or Bricker Gaylord now?
Hmm. Brooker Graydon, Graydon.
So I have a motion by Mr. Schick, second by Dr. Water to approve Bricker Braden and Eckler, and Scott Scriven Law Firms to provide legal assistance during the 2024 calendar year. Ms. Williams?
Mr. Shook,
Yes.
Dr. Walter.
Yes.
Ms. Cato,
Yes.
Mr. Hookrattle,
Yes.
Mr. Moore.
Yes.
J, request advance payment. The treasurer requests authority to advance payment during the 2024 calendar year on taxes collected as allowed by law. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Dr. Walter, second by Mr. Moore, to provide, or to give authority to the treasurer to request advance payment on taxes collected as allowed by law in the 2024 calendar year. Ms. Williams?
Dr. Walter.
Yes.
Ms. Cato.
Yes.
Mr. Hookrattle.
Yes.
Mr. Moore.
Yes.
Mr. Shook.
Public participation at board meetings. We set aside time for the public to participate. Do I see anyone here? Seeing none, we'll move on to recognition. Like to recognize the following board members for their service.
Right.
You want to go ahead and do that?
So the School Board Association provides a certificate annually, so I'd like to give you that certificate. And then also acknowledge out loud that Carol Cato is recognized for 10 years of service. I guess all of these are correct. Let me know if they're not. Sean Hookrattle, 15 years of service. Bill Moore, 6. Sean Shook, 12, soon to be 16, right?
Yep.
John Walter, 12, soon to be 16. So anyway, thanks for your service to our community. As I said before, it's a great Board of Education we have here in this district. And I've enjoyed being part of it, and I know the community has only positive things to say about our board, which is not characteristic of all boards, I can say that for sure. But this is a very good board. So on behalf of the Ohio School Board Association, I just wanted to give these to you on their behalf.
Thank you.
And it is a pleasure to serve with every one of you, I will say that. Next, we have refreshments. Do we want to just grab something real quick and
Sure.
keep moving on with our meeting?
Mhm.
Okay, we'll adjourn for just a couple minutes and grab a break.
We're having a special refreshment today because I think it's somebody's birthday. No. Oh, I was told. Oh, I know why.
I
Because
did.
Jim is making a presentation today and he got a chance to choose the refreshment, right?
Okay, we'll break for a couple minutes.
What are you doing?
swap actors.
Oh, okay. So I'll make sure we're on the same page. Well, let's start off, we'll talk about our grade card from last year. When we look at our grade card, we're a 4-star school, which, you know, is good, but, you know, when we look at things, we thought we could be much better. We could be at least a 4.5-star school. If we look at gap closing, and that's the gap between students with disabilities and students at lower economic, we got a 5-star. Those kids are up with pretty much with our regular ed students. So we're pretty fortunate on that. We're pretty happy with that. Our intervention specialists work real hard to get our kids up to that point. But when we look at achievement, we're a 3-star. We should be at least a 4-star. And that achievement is how they do on the state test. So go to the next slide here. When we look at the state test scores, we got a 79.2% rating, which if we would have had an 80%, we would have been a 4.5-star school. So we missed it by 0.8%. And so we started looking in and said, okay, where are we slipping up at? So we start digging deeper. I got with my building leadership team, and they said, well, one of your problems is our older kids, our 7th and 8th graders, are not taking this test serious because there's no really consequences to taking that on. So when we look at our 7th and 8th grade scores, when we look at 8th grade mathematics, they got a 30.9% passing rate, okay? And then when we look at the overall scores in the 7th and 8th, they're not like the 5th grade. 5th grade, 82% of the kids passed the English, 80% of them passed the science. So what's going on? Well, they're not giving it everything to us. So we started looking a little closer, digging deeper, and with that 79.2%, if we would have had 19 students score basic and went from basic to proficient, we would have had 80%. If we would have had 25 students go from limited and score basic, we would have made 80%. So that's not a lot of kids when you look at the number of kids scoring and taking the test. So we went one more step. We started looking at, we had 4 students score at 699. 700's proficient. So they missed it by 1 question, or less than a question. We also had, you know, another 6 students score a 698, which almost made it. So we kind of looked at and went back and started looking at kids' scores and tried to figure out what is going on. And it came back to the same point we brought up originally. Some of the kids are not putting everything in. So I started reaching out to some people in the community, and I found a lady that said, hey, if you want a really good motivated speaker, you need to get John Paul Gonzalez. He's out of New Jersey, and she had used him. And his theme is all in. John Paul Gonzalez is a social studies teacher in New Jersey, but to get his teaching license, he had to work with students in juvenile detention centers, and he motivated them through basketball. He's a basketball player, played basketball in college, did real well, went on and went with the LA Lakers, and then decided he wanted to be a teacher. And so his theme was all in, and the way he got his promotion in the speaking world is the New York Giants was doing very bad. They were a 500 team about Christmas time. And so someone asked him to come in and speak to the New York Giants players. And he said he was scared to death, and he went in and he talked to them, and he brought in some poker chips, and he gave them out to each of the players and said, put your initials on it and think about what you can do if we had to put all your chips on the table. And so the next games that they played, they won all their games, and they went to the Super Bowl, and they won the Super Bowl. And their theme was all in. So we asked this guy, there's John Paul Gonzalez in the center, to come in and wear an all in shirt, and our theme that day was all in. And he spoke to the kids about giving it your all. And at the end of the presentation, we handed out poker chips here to all the kids and said, you need to be all in. And so all of them have one in their locker. And we've got some other plans for these as we get closer to state testing. But he spoke to them, you could hear a pin drop in there as he talked to them to be an all in. And so the next step had to be is, I had to get the faculty on board. And then what are you gonna do to be all in? So not only did he get shirts, but we had, during one of the fall professional development time, we talked about what we could do to get kids all in. So each one of these faculty members picked 12 to 15 kids that they have connection with. And we came up with through the building leadership team, a goal-setting plan. So Marcus is going to give you what they have. So each one of these, during that professional development day, picked their kids, and then they sat down and they collected data on how these kids were doing on state tests and iReady scores. So they are now meeting individually with each one of their kids, one-on-one. And first they talk about goal setting. What's your personal goal? And what I've been hearing, it's been going really well. Kids are finally saying, this is what they'd like to do. And then what's a school goal? You know, what do you want to do? You could join the spelling bee. You could be in the band. You could play sports. If you're going to play sports, you know, give it all in. Everyone needs to be all in. So that's the theme, and that's why these teachers are meeting as academic advisors for each one of those kids. And our goal is to, when we get to the end of the school year and take the state test, they give everything. And our plan is in the hallways, as they, before they take the test, they'll go and put their initials on one of these chips, and they're going to throw it in a bucket saying, we're in, we're going to give you everything you got. Now, to help on to that, we've had some guest speakers, okay? And I hope my technology man up there has got this right. But here's what I want you to hear. Maybe not. Maybe our technology guy's not on part.
Yeah, maybe, we'll see.
I think it went to Charlie Brown, I understood it.
Yeah.
I think he's going to do. Jacob and I are thrilled to get our free all-in shirts. I think this is awesome, and you don't get to where Jacob has gotten to or where he's going to go unless you're all in. Now, I know, known you for a long time, and I can remember at least in sixth grade, you tell me over to the gym one day, well, hey, what do you want to do, Jacob? He said, oh, I'm going to be a professional baseball player. And I've had a lot of kids tell me over the years what they wanted to do, and but just somehow the way you said it and the way Jacob said this to me, I was like, well, I think he's going to do that. And you can't get there without being all in terms of what you're doing. You know, he didn't get to be a draft pick professional baseball player because he thought he could do it. He knew he could do it. They knew he could do it because he was willing to put the work in. And it's what he's described to you already, and work all year long. It's not just something you just say, I want to do it, and all of a sudden it shows up. You got something you want to do, whatever it is, whatever your goals are. If you get to them, you say, this is where I'm going to go, you set to work, and you stay with it, you can accomplish anything in life that you want to accomplish. Interestingly enough, I don't think baseball was always your favorite sport, was it?
No, when I was super young, I got bored with baseball. You know, I always loved basketball and football just because there was so much more action. But I think like 4th or 5th grade was when I started like liking it a little bit more.
And like the pitching part of it too, especially.
Yeah, when I started pitching and kind of realized like, oh hey, like I'm not half bad at this, that was when I started really having fun with it.
It wasn't half bad either. I guess you could be pretty modest about that. You're in the middle school, and when you got in high school sports and other activities that really kind of filled up your day and your school schedule here.
Yeah, so middle school I played baseball, basketball, football, track, did student council, 4-H, a little bit of everything with all my friends here and there, just because the more you do and the more you're involved, I mean, it's just the more fun you're going to have and the better experience you're going to get out of it.
Tell us about track a little bit. I mean, what did you do in track? And you can brag a little bit. Tell us. some of your accomplishments there?
Well, if you look at that board walking in the gym, you'll see my name up there on high jump.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, no, I think it was 7th grade. I was hanging on the rim one day and walked in.
Probably yell at you for hanging on the rim, doesn't it?
Get down, Jake. But, I mean, they're like, hey, you're going to high jump. And I was like, what's high jump? They're like, well, it's part of track. And I was like, I don't know if I can do track. So I had to go home and ask if I could do it. And I was like, well, if it works with the practice schedule, you can give it a go. And then I think ended up being like top 5 in the state out of 7th and 8th grade. And then like number 1, 8th grade.
Very impressive.
I don't know how, but.
You know,
So our goal there was to let the kids see somebody that just graduated and get them involved, be all in, be in activities. That kind of fits our goal setting and, set goals, be involved. And so Jake stood around and, he was there during lunchtime signing autographs and worked with the kids, and kids bonded with them. And we thought that was a big plus. We got a couple other guest speakers coming in, before the state testing. The plan is all in, do your best. And we're trying to get that in everything that we're seeing in the building. And that's our goal. Okay? Questions? Okay. Our original plan was to put this on on the webpage so people could watch it, because a lot of people know Alan Young. And Jake did a really nice job of talking about a lot of things about how he got into that. But we had a sound problem, right? And it didn't happen.
It's fixed now, so we can put it up.
Yeah, if we could,
We
people
just
see
had to
that.
fix
Okay.
it before.
All right? That's it?
Thanks, Tim.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks, Tim. Well, we'll be looking to see that next report card coming out.
Hope it's a lot better.
Moving on, discussion and approval of the minutes. Look through, this would have been the regular board meeting of December the 11th. Any additions or corrections? Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
A motion by Mr. Shook, second by Mr. Moore, to approve minutes of the regular meeting of the Liberty Union-Thurston Board of Education held on December 11th, 2023, as printed. Ms. Boyer?
Ms. Cato,
Yes.
Mr. Hookrattle?
Yes.
Mr. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Shook?
Yes.
Dr. Walden?
Yes.
Number 4, monthly financial statements. Ms. Boyer?
All right, you have our financial report. And on page 3 is our cash balance. The cash balance is dropping as we expect with all the construction we've been doing, but we're still above where we were last year, so we're doing really well. On page 4 is the monthly revenue analysis, and this shows why our cash balance is up over last year. You can see down at the bottom all the different categories that are the little green arrow going up. And then our expenditures, there really isn't much to talk about there. You can look at it. They're right where they need to be. Page 8 is our interest. It's still doing good. Keep our fingers crossed it stays that way for a while. Page 9 is where we are in the percent of the year. Right now, it's 50% of the year. And our revenue's right about the 50%. Our expenditures are down in total percentage, which is mainly due to purchase service area. And this is due to some things being billed quarterly and just not being paid yet. And page 10 is our cash balances and all the different funds as of December 31st. And again, the 500 funds are mainly federal funds, federal grants, and they're reimbursing, and that's why those are negative. After that, you have our bank reconciliation. And then you have our bills that were paid. And on the bill, page 4, towards the top, check 101982. It was to C&T Design and Equipment for $29,543.21. That was replacement of the serving line for the elementary school, and that came from the food service fund. The next page, page 5, a little lower than the middle, check 102011 to the Village of Baltimore for $30,410.44. That's for the SROs at all the buildings. $12,903.64 came from the general fund. $17,506.80 came from our ESSER grant. Page 7, towards the top, check 102054 to Perry and Associates CPAs for $15,000. That's 80% of our audit costs for the 2023 audit. The next check and that came from general fund, I'm sorry. And the next check 102055 to Howard's Plumbing for $40,000. That's payment on our plumbing contract for the concession locker room, and that came from the general fund. After that, you have our donations. Well, you have our 018 200s and 300s appropriations, and then you have the donations. $665 was an anonymous donation to pay all the negative lunch balances at that time, which went to food service. $200 from the class of 2023 to the National Honor Society. $4,327.52, class of 2023 to the class of 2024. $15 miscellaneous donation to the high school musical. $500 from Robert and Joy Snyder to the Washington, D.C. trip. And $57.70 from General's Box Tops, and that went to the middle school library.
Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
A motion by Mr. Hookrattle, second by Dr. Waller to approve the monthly financial statements excluding check 102075, and the monthly bank reconciliation for Alyssa Compton, which will be voted on separately. Ms. Williams?
Mr. Hookrattle?
Yes.
Mr. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Shook?
Yes.
Dr. Water?
Yes.
Ms. Cato?
Yes. Next we have the check from the monthly bank reconciliation that requires a separate vote to Alyssa Compton. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
So I have a motion by Mr. Shook, second by Mr. Hookrattle to approve check number 102075 to Alyssa Compton from the monthly bank reconciliation list. Ms. Williams?
Mr. Shook?
Yes.
Dr. Water?
Yes.
Ms. Cato?
Yes.
Mr. Hookrattle?
Yes.
Mr. Moore?
Abstain.
New business financial, A, transfer of funds. Transfer requested from the 0300 fund to the 034 fund in the amount of $73,720 for the earmark of the OSFC/OFCC maintenance fund to follow the required agreement. B, service providers. We have service provider Cirrus. Contract period is basically the years 2024, school year 2025, 2026. Service provided is the penetration testing for the district network and infrastructure of a fee of $1,800. Then we have the Ohio Department of Administrative Services. Contract period February of 24 through February of 25. Service provided is a cooperative purchasing program of $100. Do I have a motion?
So
Just a question on that. Is that the 1,800 on that, is that per year or is that the total for all three? Just,
I was wondering the same thing, and I don't have that. You have that in your folder to sign. Thank you.
yeah, I was just kind of curious if,
That was
just
good.
so we got our records accurate and everything.
Good question.
Noah, would you know? Because I know it has to do with, you don't know either?
We're approving a 3-year contract, April. I would guess it's
You would guess what?
1,800 total. The 3-year contract.
It looks like it is, from what I can tell, it says 1,800 is the only dollar amount. It doesn't say yearly. If I find out different, I'll let you know.
Motion?
So moved. Second.
I have a motion by Mr. Moore, second by Mr. Shook, to approve items in the new business financial section. Ms. Boyer?
Mr. Moore,
Yes.
Mr. Shook,
Yes.
Dr. Walters,
Yes.
Ms. Cato.
Yes.
And Mr. Hookrattle.
Yes.
New business personnel resignations. We have Vanessa Donahue, custodian middle school, purpose of retirement. It's in a revised effective date of April 1st of 2024. We have Elena Miller, girls track coach, middle school, resignation, effective January 1st of 2024. Certified substitutes, we have Mason Prater, Tara Tufts, Hunter McCartney, and Allie Brunty. Unpaid leave of absence, we have, is it pronounced Renee Johnson, custodian, second shift, elementary and middle school, unpaid December 1st of 2023 through November 30th of 2024. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion by Dr. Walter, second by Sean Shook, to approve items under the new business personnel section. Ms. Williams?
Mr. Shook,
Yes.
Dr. Walters,
Yes.
Ms. Cato,
Yes.
Mr. Hookrattle,
Yes.
Mr. Moore.
New business athletics. We have, these are all, well, no, I was gonna say all spring season, but they're not. So we have spring, Mike Brunty, softball varsity assistant coach, level 3, step 2, spring, Sean Hookrattle, softball varsity head coach volunteer, Larry Schaffner, spring, track varsity boys volunteer coach, distance. We have Danny Howe Winter, basketball 7th grade boys coach, level 4, step 0. Evan Stevens, winter, basketball cheer, junior high coach, level 6, step 0. Spring, Eric Smoleski, track varsity assistant coach boys, level 3, step 1. And spring, Justin Wolf, track varsity boys volunteer coach. Athletic donation, we have $600 to the class of 2023 from the SALT Athletic Leadership Team.
Excuse me,
Yes.
that actually was flipped. It's from 2023 to SALT.
Oh, I'm sorry. Clarification, the donation is from the class of 2023, donation to the SALT. Thank you for that clarification. Ratifying agreement with the Comfort Systems USA, Inc. The superintendent recommends selecting Comfort Systems USA, Inc., Comfort Systems, as the contractor in the best interest of the district to provide HVAC installation services for the locker room and concession building project, and requests the board to ratify the execution of the agreement with Comfort Systems for the project. Dr. Johnson, do you have anything you want to add to that? Or?
No, it's back to you to vote on again, because we needed 3 votes. So we have it back on the agenda.
Vote to approve new business athletics. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Shook, second by Mr. Moore, to approve items under the new business athletics section. Ms. Boyer?
Ms. Cato,
Yes.
Mr. Hookrattle,
Abstain.
Mr. Moore,
Yes.
Mr. Shook,
Yes.
Dr. Walters.
Yes.
New business other. Request to approve and appoint the treasurer as a public records designee for the district. Item B, disposals. We have the disposal of one fuel tank. It's old, unused, full of algae and water, disposed for salvage value. Then we have quite numerous second readings. If anybody wants me to go through all of those, I think there's over 20 some of those that for second readings. Is there any that need to be pulled out to discuss again?
Page 41.
Takes us to page 41. To the field trip out of state, is that correct? We have the Liberty Union High School Music Department going to Orlando, Florida for the proposed field trip. Dates January 16th to the 21st of the year 2025. Trip consultant is Music Travel Consultants. Charter bus would be the transportation. Hotel to be determined. The approximate cost is $1,628 for 85 people to a little over $1,772 for 70 people. These amounts are before any group fundraising. If the number of interested participants falls below 70, the trip will be postponed and revisited for the year 2026. Do I have a motion to approve new business other?
So moved. Second.
Motion by Mr. Hookredder, second by Mr. Shook to approve items in the new business other section. Ms. Williams?
Mr. Hookrattle?
Yes.
Mr. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Shook?
Yes.
Dr. Walter?
Yes.
Ms. Cato?
Yes. Board policy, first reading would be the AFC 2R, also known as, it's a GCN 2R, evaluation of professional staff. First reading, the administrators and supervisors. That's the only thing, the only board policy. Do we have an executive session for this evening?
Yes, I'd like to request an executive session for item D and E, which is negotiations and matters we kept confidential.
Do I have a motion to go into
So
executive
moved.
session?
Second.
I have a motion by Mr. Shook, second by Dr. Walter, to go into executive session for the reason of D, preparing and conducting for negotiations and for matters regarding kept confidential. E.
7:40.
At 7:40, thank you, PM. Ms. Boyer?
Mr. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Shook?
Yeah.
Dr. Walter?
Yes.
Ms. Cato? Mr. Hookrattle?
Yes.